Is this one of the most slept on features in game? Welcome back to the channel, guys. We're going to have a look at something I think is widely slept on with the recent updates for Test Drive Unlimited. We of course already know with the anti-cheat now coming into play and with those leaderboards being wiped, I think this might be one of those features that many people in game are sleeping on. Now, there's a couple of things have happened recently. Of course, the leaderboard's been wiped, fantastic. Anti-cheat coming into play, fantastic. And it's gave us opportunity to open up these races. Once again, I've covered it quite a lot recently. And one of the big focuses I now have got here is the high stakes racing. And it seems like everybody's sleeping on it. The leaderboards tend to be empty. We're going to have a look at that one today. We're going to head on over to the Rising Sun Time Attack. It's probably going to be wet. It is asphalt. Supercar, hypercar. 850 to 1000 RP this time out. Going to jump into the Veyron. Going to see what kind of times we can set here. We can see that Jaeger is top of this high stake leaderboard in a Veyron, a minute 37, Rally Royale and a Centenario with a 1 minute 41. So what kind of time can we set? I don't ever remember actually doing this race. I will have done it. I've done every race in game, but I genuinely don't remember doing this one. So what I've done here is I've tuned this thing to 1000 RP, still got my custom tune attached to it. I'm going to see how it kind of performs here. Came out initially here with semi-slick tyres. I wasn't expecting it to be an overly wet race, but we can see that there is some water on the road surface, so we're going to have to approach it with a little bit of caution. But in a hypercar, how much caution do we actually have here? Early stages of the race, it's been alright, it's a little bit squirmy, we're going to expect that with semi-slick tyres and a damp road surface, and coming into some corners that I'm not expecting. I don't remember doing this race at all, but I think that's the beauty of high stakes racing. You only get 3 attempts, any mistakes made, they are detrimental overall to your race. You only have those 3 attempts, so we want to try and perhaps scope out the race in our very first attempt, essentially what I'm trying to do here. Understand, are the tyres correct? Is the gearbox correct? Is the tune correct? That's why I use the first outing for. Second one, I try to be as clinical as possible. Overall, we've not been too bad in the Veyron. We've made a few mistakes. The back end's been a bit squirmy, but overall we've been relatively clean. Yes, we can clean it up. Yes, we can stay off those walls. Yes, we can avoid the central reservations where possible. But overall, the lap time hasn't been too bad. My initial thinking here is perhaps the standard road tyres may be better, then we can use that RP elsewhere to get this thing performing a little bit better. We'll maybe jump into the next one and try it with the standard road tyres as we lose a couple of frames there, crash into another wall, but we do manage to cross the line. We do get our first time on the board, so we are on the leaderboard now with a time in the Veyron. 1 minute 33.65. Doesn't feel like an overly fast lap time, but we have actually managed to get to the top of the leaderboard, beating Jaeger's Veyron time of the 1 minute 37. So with the 1 minute 33.65, perhaps we could improve it with some minor changes. So heading over to the garage, kept this one as it is. Race parts across every aspect of the engine here, whether it's turbo, yeah, in fact, turbo's anti-live, but everything else is race spec. Brakes, dropping these ones down to stock. Suspension's keeping that on track. I want to keep this thing as stable as I possibly can. What else have we done here? Gearbox, we've kept this on the versatile gearbox. I don't use the long one. I think it uses a bit much RP having that there. Coming over to the chassis, race chassis, over to aero, race aero attached to this one. Tyres, we're going with the all-season, the standard tyres here in the ECU, keeping that on its stock format, but 1700 horsepower, 2100 newton meters of torque, 1700 kilos, a good power to weight ratio, 1.2 seconds for its 0 to 30. This thing's still going to perform. Let's launch it off the line once again there. We do manage to get a far better launch than our previous outing. We can see here, how is it going to perform through the early stages? How are those standard road tyres going to hold on a damp road surface? Initially here, they feel a lot more compromising, I think is the best way to put it. I don't like those standard tyres. And we make a mess of the first outing in that one. I'm going to come straight back there. I didn't like the feel of those standard tyres. What we're going to do though is keep the engine tuned as it was. The anti-lag turbo. Brakes, going to put a little bit of feel into the brakes. Put the Super Sport brakes on, still with the track suspension. This time out, going to drop the gearbox down to stock. It's already a fantastic gearbox. Does it really need the improvement? Do we need to really lose that RP? I don't think so. So we'll take the gearbox back to stock with the Super Sport transmission tune. chassis and aero, keeping those ones the same. But this time out, of course, we're going to be using the semi-slick tyres once again. So taking the RP from the gearbox over to the tyres, and again, that stock ECU. This thing will still perform as a monster supercar as expected. But as we do come out of the garage, race rotations happened, and we've lost high stakes for the Rising Sun race. I never accounted for that happening. We're not going to get a third outing there. We're going to leave it on the top of leaderboard, getting in that 2 minute 31. We've actually topped out leaderboard, so that's all fine. It's very disappointing though. That's perhaps an oversight on my behalf, not looking at a countdown timer maybe. That's an oversight. It would have been interesting to see if we could have actually improved here with the Veyron. Very disappointed with that one. But I think high stakes is now being slept on. The fake times are off leaderboard. The anti-cheat is there. If you're down in Alex 7's Discord yesterday, well, there was another chat going on about cheats in game. I'm not going to get into that one just now, but we're going to focus on more of the high stakes. Like I said, a bit of race rotation has went on, and as we do come up to off the beaten track, this is the next outing for high stakes. A time attack 1.9 miles, off-road, cross-country daily driver, 500 to 600 RP for this outing. We're going to give that one a little tryout. For high stakes racing, try and improve some times on the board, try and top the leaderboard for high stakes. Once again, it's easy money, it's cross country, it breaks my heart, but we're going to be using the Porsche Cayenne Turbo S. We've done the test, guys. We've went over the dynamics. Is the Porsche faster than the Lamborghini? It does break my heart. I still love the Lamborghini, but we've proven it in quite a few scenarios now that the Porsche is faster than the Lamborghini. It still hurts me, guys. It really does. For me, it just feels too calm, too stable. And fundamentally, that's what you want a race car to be, stable. The Lamborghini's just so leery. We're going to jump into the Porsche. So off the beaten track, 1.9 miles, off-road, 500 to 600 RP. What kind of time can we do here? What kind of time are we trying to achieve? Well, we can see that the Porsche Cayenne Turbo is topping out the leaderboard, top 5. All in the Porsche Cayenne. 1 minute 28 from Deddy94 is the time to beat so far. 1 minute 28.31. Can we compete? Can we compare any sort of lap time with an outing in the Cayenne Turbo? Our previous time in this one was actually set in the Range Rover Sport SVR. Not even used the Lamborghini for this yet, so it's going to be interesting to see how far we have came in game from the previous tune we had with the SVR to the new tune, the new adapted tune that we built a few videos ago in the Porsche. Well, already we've smoked it off the line up the early hill climb that we've essentially got here in the Porsche. We've absolutely smoked the Range Rover Sport SVR, and that was a game I touted for, that was a car, sorry, I touted for a long time to be the best off-road vehicle in game. Still love it, still think it's fantastic. Prefer the Lamborghini, but we've kind of proven that the Porsche here is the best C-Class car in game. Early stages here, this thing's been absolutely fantastic. It's been as stable and reserved, uncompromising as it tends to be. It does feel a bit too executive for me. There's just a feel about this car, it just gets me. Early stages though, we're going good. We got to that 50% mark and we flipped it. We lost concentration. We're going to have to go again. We're going to start it again, our second outing on this one in the Porsche Cayenne once again. Launch it off the line, and again, smoking the Range Rover Sport. So we know that we've got a far better build, a far better car, far faster car here in the Porsche Cayenne. Turn right, turn left, just letting it power slide a little bit, feathering the throttle, climbing up the hill, being as calm as we possibly can be to try and keep as much power down. Overcoming some of the obstacles we had there. We had a few bumps in the road. The Porsche handles them fantastically well. Into this race, I really wanted to come into the Lamborghini, but we know that Porsche has proven time and time again now it is much faster than the Lamborghini, and obviously faster than the Range Rover Sport the previous time that we did obviously manage to set with that one. Can we stop making mistakes? So can we get through this stage a little bit better? Back at that 50% mark. This time out we have not flipped the Porsche, so we're doing better already. Hairpin left right here. Oh yeah, we do get, it's not hairpin, sorry, it's a 90-degree left. We do manage that one alright. I was fearing that we were going to outbrake ourselves coming up into that one, but now things start to do start to get quite tricky. Coming downhill, this thing's going to get unstable, it's going to get unsettled. It is a lot firmer than a lot of other cross-country vehicles, maybe just the way I've got this one set up. But as we do come downhill, we wanted to approach it with a little bit more caution, and I am backing off the throttle, feathering on the brakes also, but we're coming through that stage very much unscathed, and we do set a very good time on the leaderboard. Where do we come? Can we take first place? You're damn right we can. 1 minute 28.31 was the time to beat. For some reason we're not showing up again. We did a 1 minute 26.81, so we're a couple of seconds ahead on that leaderboard. But again, for some reason we're not showing up on the leaderboard as first place, which we well and truly are. And we know that we're getting those rewards when these settle down. But you guys know I'm going to try and save some grace for the Lamborghini here. We're going to give it an attempt. Can the Lamborghini beat the Porsche on the hill climb in this race? Launch off the line. Oh, we bounced off the limiter first and second gear there. The transition of the gearboxes from the Porsche to the Lamborghini, completely different style of gearboxes. The Porsche just moves its way through the gears, whereas the Lamborghini rip-roars its way through every gear. The transition was an issue on my behalf, but as we come uphill we can see that the Porsche is well indeed out-accelerating, out-gripping the Lamborghini Urus. It does break my heart because I absolutely love this car, but that Porsche is absolutely smoking it on the initial hill climb that we have here into the big sweeping right-hander. Again, that Porsche far more settled than the leery, bouncy, lively Lamborghini Urus. As we start to get the power back down again, we can see that the Porsche is pulling away from the Lamborghini. This thing sliding all over the track, whereas the Porsche was very calm, very reserved. As we do come up into that left-hand hairpin, that's where things fall apart. We outbrake ourselves, and that Porsche is well and truly off in the distance. So yes, once again we've confirmed that the Porsche is quicker than the Lamborghini, but all the focus here of course was around high stakes racing, with those leaderboards being fixed, with anti-cheat being in game now. The high stakes racing is something that we can now be competitive and achieve the fastest times, achieve that income, which it is. Yes, it does cost us 30,000 to do the 3 races. Over the last few weeks I've walked away with over 100,000 from each race because there's that few people doing it. Perhaps we would still be up there, perhaps not. That's up to you guys. Have you been doing high stakes racing? If not, are you going to be doing it in the coming drops that do come from high stakes? As always guys, please do smash up the like button, subscribe, tap on the bell. Quite a lot of views in these videos now, but very few of you guys are subscribing. I want to try and get the channel monetized. I will need to get to 500 and 1,000 subs. I can only do that with your guys' help. Stay tuned for more updates on Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown.